Another year's gone by. I'm so glad you're with me. The way you lift me up with the love you give me. It's good to know that you'll be mine when days are blue. Oh, what a dream come true.
Welcome to the Orange is the New Black podcast. I'm Rob Southgate.
And I'm Martha Southgate.
And we're talking about Season 7, Episode 6, Trapped in an Elevator.
Yep. Tasty takes advantage.
What was that? Yep.
Yep. Well, because I was struggling a little bit to figure out why that was called that.
Yep.
And so just
I just thought you were doing Step Brothers there.
I was reminding myself that I have it all figured out now, and it's okay.
Not really, because I had to explain it to you, and you forgot again. So, all right. So,
Yep.
Trapped in an elevator.
Tasty takes advantage of her new position. Linda teaches Tamika how to pivot. Black, Cindy, and Maria make amends to people they've hurt.
Yep.
Okay. I have a love-hate relationship with this episode.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I loved elements of it. Yeah. Love. And then there's one thing specifically that I really wish hadn't happened.
Super painful. Yep.
All right. So let's see. Do you want to start with just let's get Hopper out of the way because he was crying?
Yeah. Well, obviously we didn't see it, but obviously Alita broke up with him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's standing there crying.
And Hellman hit him, which was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was really it for that drama.
Mm-hmm.
We just know that she broke up with him and he's crying about it. And that's pretty much it.
All right. What do you want to do?
I think we should talk about,
because each one it's only going to be like, okay, we're talking about that for the rest of it. There's like 4.
Well, it's all pretty much tied back to the main
well,
thing.
Then let's get Piper and Alex out of the way because that one's kind of a sub.
Okay.
That was kind of a small
Sure. I think it's going to have a bigger effect as we go into this season.
It will, but right now it's not the focus of the episode.
Right. So Alex is talking to Piper. Piper was there, right? They did it in person. And she says she's commenting on how difficult this is and Piper had obviously just told her about how she basically had her breakdown and ended up using the Visine.
Or her snow day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex is like, look, the pressure of me being in here, you've got years to go. 5 years, I think.
3.
Okay. But she's like, look, essentially you can have a free pass. You can see other people because this is really hard.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean, and she even said like, hey, you're not giving me up.
Right.
I'm just saying it's okay while I'm stuck in here because this is how it's going to be.
Yes. And she was rather specific in a way that it would be a woman. But I have a feeling Piper's going to end up with that guy from NA.
The guy from the NA thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what you're leaving off is why Alex was pissed about the pot.
Yes.
And she was really angry that she put herself in that position and was going to. She could have ended up back in prison, right. And she does not want her back in prison.
Right, and Piper's like, oh, but I don't know. She's like, no.
Stop hanging out with your brother and go find some new friends.
Right.
Was how it started.
Right.
And then Piper was like, well, I can't be friends with the people I work with, and I can't really, I don't have anybody else. And she's like, you need to find a woman. Like, you need to go find a new girlfriend is essentially what she was telling her then. She was like, go start dating because this isn't going to work out.
And this is the only way that we are going to work out.
Yes.
If it's meant to be, essentially.
Because you cannot come back into prison.
Right.
So,
and she's been gone such a short time, and Alex has already been in the hot seat where she could end up with more time.
Yes.
So she, who knows if this relationship is ultimately going to work out, but Alex is saying, hey, do this and then we'll work it out.
And Alex is about to start an affair with McCullough.
Absolutely. You called that way back.
It's totally
it's
happening.
Totally going to happen. The way they were this time,
yeah,
sniffing the corset after she had worn it, and like they are totally circling.
The only thing I was wondering is maybe Chargers have a scent, and they were making sure you couldn't smell it through the corset, since there were so many Chargers.
That is absolutely not what was happening here.
I know, but that's how my brain works.
Absolutely
that's how my brain works.
Well,
I was also trying to figure out why the hell they called it trapped in an elevator.
Well, you know they call corsets elevators, so they were talking about the Chargers. You understand that, right? You understand that, right?
Are you teasing? That's not a thing.
I'm totally teasing you.
Oh, all right. I'm like, is that a thing? Okay. I totally believed you. I was kind of believing you. All right.
But they do have a scent.
So.
No, they don't have a scent. We have Chargers.
But we don't have like 20 of them.
Go smell the Charger.
In a concentrated space.
This show is answering questions for you that we didn't know were being asked.
Sometimes life is hard for me. Okay.
Apparently.
So, okay, so then...
Well, so it showed Alex...
She's wearing Alex's corset.
Right, when she's smuggling in
and she said, she's like, oh, you stole that? Or like, that was mine. And she was like, no, look, I can hold that many more Chargers. So then, of course, Alex had to put it on. She needed to put it on her. And they compared tattoos.
Yep.
Okay.
And sniffed the corsets.
And God, okay.
Or Chargers. Whatever.
They were smelling something.
But as soon as it showed McCullough's tattoo, that was what Alex saw before, that she was like, woof, what's that?
Yes.
So she's definitely looking, and McCullough's definitely looking.
They're sniffing around.
They are. I think I just said that.
Did you?
I literally said they're sniffing around. So.
Oh, my God. All right.
By contrast, though, Piper, when she came back at the end, came back to their place, and she hears Neri and Cal doing their thing, and she like sniffed the pot that was out, but she didn't, do anything. She went into her room and was alone. This is the approach she's taking. I don't know if she's going to end up with somebody.
She's going to end up
But she could end up with a guy.
She's going to end up with a guy, I think.
But she is not going out there and dating.
I think she would view being with a woman as cheating.
I
don't think she will view being with a guy as cheating.
No,
so
I think she'll view it as just taking care of some needs.
And she was with Larry before, so she'll be with a guy, I think. All right. We got to get off them because they're driving me nuts right now. Okay, so let's see.
Oh, I feel like I'm trapped in an elevator.
Shut up. Let's talk about Linda and Ward and that whole storyline.
Okay.
Like, that's going to tie in. Okay. Let's do Linda and Ward. So, so Tasty was reading files she's not supposed to be reading.
She's obviously obsessed with the Cindy thing at the beginning. That Cindy's
and so
getting out.
She was all flustered and screwing up her job.
Right.
And Ward came in and almost caught her.
Yeah, it's not like her to be like that, like screwing up her work. And she totally was.
Yeah. So Ward has to go to see Linda. And it turns out that Linda had sent out a press release that day that they are closing the psych ward and turning it into more Gen Pop, which is so wrong.
Oh, my God.
Every level, it is wrong. And Ward had to go do the TV interview and talk to the press about it. But
she even said to Ward, like, but with your ethnicity, you look great on camera. It's like, oh my gosh, Linda, we can see right through what you're doing.
So,
and Ward was scared. She's like, I don't do on camera.
Well, plus she said, I can't lie. I will fall apart if I. So
she goes.
She did the smartest thing. Caputo sent her to Fig. With a plant.
Fig
with a succulent.
With a succulent. But Fig gave great advice.
Yes, as always.
And
I love their little mentor relationship.
Yes. And, she's all harsh about it, but she gave great advice.
Yeah.
And Ward is smart. Ward hears it, takes it in, and adapts to it.
Well, and
she did
Fig,
this. She's done this every time.
Fig taught her how to pivot.
Yes.
So she was able to pivot the question in order to benefit her. So she wasn't lying. So she was just how to avoid the question.
Right.
And so Ward killed the interview. She did a great job.
She did great. But the best part.
Go ahead.
Is when the interviewer says to her, well, all these programs, this is great or whatever. It was in one of the pivots where she tried to get him to talk about the program she's putting in. She's like, oh, well, you're going to have programs for these patients. And she's like, yes, we haven't worked that out. And she goes, well, what are you going to do? You're going to obviously use the $2.5 million for this, which Ward didn't know about.
No.
That they're going to save $2.5 million by closing down the psych ward. And this is
they're not giving her any.
No.
For the GED program or any of the programs, they were like, she said, how much is this going to cost us? And
she's like,
Ward's like, oh, no, it's free. It's not, they're all volunteers. And she's like, perfect.
Linda's like,
keep
I
going.
love it. You can keep doing it. But now when she said that about the $2.5 million, the first thought I have is, oh, she's got a bargaining chip. But no, she flat out said, here's how we're using it. Here's how, because now if they don't use it that way, it's a huge black eye to the company. Now, do they need to spend $2.5 million on it? No, they could spend probably $500,000 and do amazing things.
Yeah, but they're not gonna.
But
they'll find a way out of it.
No, they're in trouble. Ward is, and it's positioning Ward in a way that if they try to just fire her, they've got a problem now.
Yeah.
Because the press, she said this, she gets fired, she can go immediately to the press and say, here's what's going on. And I was fired over these programs. And they don't want any of that. That is what they're trying to avoid, is any bad press. So Linda made a huge mistake by handing the reins over to Ward.
Without giving her parameters.
Right.
She didn't say, these are your answers.
Right. That's where she made a mistake.
Yeah, so this is really good.
So, I loved that scene.
I did too.
Absolutely loved the way, I thought Ward was great in the interview, but when that happened, I was like, oh, she just crushed this thing. So that was great. And as long as we're talking about Caputo and Fig.
I wasn't.
Well, you don't want to talk about that
Not
part
yet.
Okay.
Let's do Ruiz. Because
this is a big story.
Caputo and Fig is going to tie into Cindy and Tasty, and that's the end. I want to talk about that at the end.
Okay.
So I'm going to just drive this little bus here for a minute. So we're going to do Ruiz. Okay?
I'm ready.
So Ruiz has her ex came to see her, and she was asking about her daughter Peppa.
Right.
And he was filling her in, and then he said, look, I'm seeing somebody, we're actually moving in together, it's really serious. And
she goes nuts.
She who wouldn't, right? And they've only been together a month, and she's like, that's not okay.
Right.
You're going to just be very disruptive in her life if you break up with this woman. Who is she? So it was not good for Ruiz. And then he came back at the end. She called him and told him that she was pregnant. She called him to come back to see her, and she apologized to him.
Right, which is something
part
we
of
haven't
the
talked
Caputo,
about yet,
right?
Caputo's apology class, and she did this.
Yeah.
She apologized. She set a couple of ground rules. I thought this was great. She's like,
she really handled it well.
I need you to bring the woman here so I can meet her. And I need you to start bringing Peppa here.
And the woman's name is Maria, too.
Oh, that was
which
the
was
best.
funny.
What's her name? Maria. And she's like,
seriously?
After this whole thing, she goes, what?
Yeah.
And then it cut to the next thing. It was like,
so funny.
That's amazing.
So,
because, Maria's a very uncommon name. Did you know
that? Right, exactly. So she is going to get to meet this woman, and she's going to have regular visits with her daughter. And then he will raise this other daughter. And she said she wasn't with anybody else. But she was with that guy that she worked with.
No, she means she wasn't with anybody else at this point.
Okay. With this baby?
Right. Because this baby, the only thing she's had, the only conjugal visit she's had is from him.
Okay.
She hasn't been with any guards or anything.
Okay.
So she's like, look, this is clearly yours.
Okay.
Whereas with Peppa, they didn't say it, but I have a feeling Peppa's that other guy's baby.
Right. Because he was like, seemed all strange. He's like, oh my God, I'm going to be a father. And I'm thinking, aren't you already? But he must be raising this other guy's baby.
And must know it. I don't know if we've been told that before.
Okay.
I don't recall that at all. Somebody's going to write it and be like, don't you remember that was the whole backstory?
My
And
Lord.
season 3, it'll be like, oh, yeah.
All right. So, her backstory.
Yes. Her backstory was different than we saw last time. It's a different point in time. She is out of the gang. She is working at some clothing store.
Mm-hmm.
And she's
in a mall.
Yeah, and she's having sex in the back room with this guy.
With a married man.
He's married, and you find out, at first you're like, oh, is that
him
Yadriel?
With hair? Yeah. Like...
No. She's dating Yadriel. She's cheating on him with this guy.
Because he works at GNC.
Right.
And she would meet him, and they had brought lunch, and she was upset that they weren't ever able to go out and buy lunch or do anything.
And he's like, look, we're better off. We got out at a good time. He starts talking about all the other gang members and how they're all going down, and he's like, we got out
for selling heroin.
And he's like, I'm on my way to being assistant manager at GNC. Like, I'm really happy with this.
Yeah. He's trying to be on the straight and narrow. He's
really trying, and he's succeeding. And we find out at the end he is still with GNC.
Yeah, but she was upset. But it doesn't appear that much time has passed. I don't know how much time has passed.
Well, it depends on how old Peppa is.
Right. So we don't know. So
yeah, maybe 3 years.
You're making stuff up.
Well, how long is the show? She's been on the show.
Okay. So she got arrested for trafficking counterfeit goods. They were selling knockoff brands, she and the married man.
Right, and the married man was the one who came up with that idea.
And he didn't get arrested.
And she didn't even want to do it. She was like, no, we can't do that. And he's like, no, look, and this will give you the extra money. And see, what she was wanting is the thrill of everything.
Yeah. And she wanted a different lifestyle, and she was upset that he was saying, well, we could work our way up to eating at Panda Express. And she was like, I don't want to wait and have Panda Express be my pinnacle of my life. Like she wanted to be able to go out and get lunch, not eat at the mall, like have a certain lifestyle. And he was quitting. It sounded to me like maybe he was a boxer or something. There was something, and she's like, "Well, you got to train." And he's like, "Oh, I'm not doing that anymore." And there were all these things he kept saying. Well, I'm not. I'm doing this now.
The exciting things were all going away.
Yeah,
and that's where she was getting the thrill from this other guy who's cheating, and he's married, and he's dangerous, but. That is exactly what got her arrested.
Yes.
We never saw what got her arrested before.
No. But now we know it was selling the counterfeit clothes. So all right. So that takes care of Ruiz.
Yeah.
All right. So Cindy. Or we'll start with restorative justice class. So Caputo's teaching this class, and he says to them, I want you all to write an apology letter to someone who you hurt intentionally or unintentionally. And then he did the exercise where the person's on an elevator, which apparently went over my head because I didn't. And
I mean, how did you miss it? They played the Aerosmith song. They did. Yeah. Didn't you see that?
No, I didn't. No, of course not. So they the people were balking at that, like. And Ruiz said, I have never wronged anybody. I have been a victim.
Even though her whole flashback was her wronging.
Yes.
But
she said, I have been the victim.
Right.
And in many ways she was. And they could all say that. But yeah, so she had
but it
brought in a letter that just said, that was just like an accusing letter.
Right.
And
it did get her to realize.
Yes.
Well, what really got her to
Oh,
realize
no, Cindy got her to realize.
Cindy's amazing letter. Cindy was fighting this the whole way, and Caputo goes to see her, and he's like, you need to do this. I thought for sure she was writing a letter to Tasty.
Mm-hmm.
She stands
up,
and
then she wanted to read it in front of everybody.
Yeah, and she stands up, she goes, I've got to apologize to a ton of people. But the first person I'm going to see when I get out, I wanted to write a letter to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that letter to her mom was fantastic.
Oh, everybody cried. I cried.
And
not everybody, but a lot of people cried.
Ruiz, like, it affected her. Like, it really did something. I don't think it did anything to our child killer.
Beth does not seem very repentant. She wanted to write a letter to Ruiz.
I wrote mine to you. She says to Bria, she's like, didn't you kill your kids? Well, they can't read. Like, God, she's so nuts.
Oh,
how is she not in psych? I mean, seriously.
Well, now wait till if she's.
They said the worst of them are going elsewhere.
Right, but if
you're still going to end up with
a whole bunch of her, or like, yeah, it's not going to.
I don't think they're all going to be fun like Suzanne.
No. All right, so Cindy, So Cindy's mom, she called her mom, and I loved that scene. That made me cry.
Yes.
And her mom said she could come home, but there were going to be rules.
Right.
And so Cindy's like, yep, I'll do it. I've really been trying to change.
And she had said in her letter, we're going to keep this charade going. She's never going to know that you're not her mom because you have been her mom.
Yes.
There's no threat of me saying this is not happening.
Yes.
And if I can come home, I'm changing. I'm trying so hard.
And so Tasty throughout this episode was fixated on Cindy, and she was sitting there watching her at the outside area, and Daya was saying all the things Daya would do to her for free. So she's like, we're going to take care of her.
She wanted to throw her over a balcony.
Right.
She wanted to cut her face up. And she's not kidding about that stuff.
No.
Because she's a lifer, and she's like, what do I care?
Yeah.
What are they going to do to me at this point? I can wreak havoc. And there's no shoe to throw her in.
Right. So, but Cindy got out before Tasty did any of those. But had Daya.
Tasty didn't want to do those
right,
things.
But I'm saying before Daya.
Right, could do anything.
Like, so a lot of times people say, oh, I don't want you to do that, but the other person does it anyway.
Right.
So Cindy got out.
You winked when you said that. Yeah.
So Cindy got out before anyone did anything to her, but Tasty broke my heart in this episode.
It's horrible.
She became someone I never thought she'd be capable of becoming, and it
shows
broken
the level
my
of
heart.
hurt that she's experienced. And what this has done to her.
It's one thing to hurt Cindy. It's another thing to hurt a defenseless child who did nothing wrong.
Right.
And she is destroying her life.
She wrote a letter to Cindy's daughter telling her what Cindy did.
I can't forgive Tasty for this.
And it is also revealing to the daughter that Cindy's her mom.
Yeah.
If that letter is not intercepted, which is the only thing we can hope happens, this is going to blow up their lives.
Yes.
That
but
sucks.
But it's one thing to do something directly to Cindy if you're that upset or whatever, and you feel like
this is cruel.
But what she did to me, like, in my opinion, that is unforgivable. Like, you do not go after a child.
It changed how you look at Tasty.
I'm really
I've
upset.
been on Tasty's side until this moment.
I know.
Now I'm like, wow.
I'm devastated.
I don't know if that's a forgivable act. It once again, if it was against Cindy alone, sure, but you've involved the kid.
I'd be upset if she did something towards Cindy, but I would at least be able to
involved the kid.
But you hurt a
if she
child.
sent it to the mom.
Yes.
You could say, you know what, you're trying to blow up Cindy's life.
Yes.
That's fine.
But she's an adult who could
send it to a kid.
You sent it to a defenseless child and you're hurting on purpose. You're hurting a child.
Right.
Nope. Not okay. not okay with that at all.
So
and so I have really changed. Like that's really destroyed my love for Tasty, and I'm so sad because I've always been one of her biggest champions, and I have always loved her, and could overlook so many.
This was conscious cruelty.
Not a child.
Yep.
So I am absolutely not okay with this. And Cindy, before she got out, went to Suzanne, and I adored this scene. And I need to not talk about Tasty anymore because I'm way too upset.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about
like
funnier things. So we're ending with sort of funnier things. But Cindy went to Suzanne, and she was saying, you know, I'm going to miss you, and Suzanne's like, oh my God, I'm going to miss you too. But why? Wait, why am I?
Why am I
and
missing
she's like,
you?
well, because I'm leaving. I'm getting out. And Suzanne did this little thing that made me die. But she's like, will you send me pictures? She goes, I'm going to call you, and then I'll be able to see what you're up to. She goes, except I can't see you, so I won't be able to see what you're up to. So you need to send me pictures. And she goes, you know, like if you're, you know, ice skating when it's cold out. Right? Yeah. Like
ice skating,
roller skating when it's warm out. She goes, you know, pretty much, she's like, pictures of you doing general movement. And that made me die because that is so Suzanne.
Not just Suzanne. I think you and I have had this exact same conversation.
Shut up. I am a lot like Suzanne.
When it's like, Martha,
talk about that.
I have to go do this thing. I'm going to be gone for 6 hours. Okay, send me pictures of you roller skating
or doing any general movement.
I'm only gone 6 hours. Just general movement. Yeah, it's
not
not far off of our reality.
But it was cute when she did it. Okay.
It's cute when you do it.
Well, it's a little sad, but anyway.
It's sad when a light shined on it, but
yeah,
it's cute.
So we had that. I loved that little interaction. And Frida has really gone off she's like, her hoarding has gotten a bit out of control, and the smell and everything. And then
toilet's
Cindy,
broken. I mean, it's like,
and then Cindy left all her stuff, and Frida goes, what am I supposed to do with all that? Like that's offensive, you know, like, or that's like,
okay. So I'm going to say this. My dad is not good about throwing stuff out. Okay.
You're being so kind.
He is not. And he is, we often say he is, if he didn't have my mom, he would have been a hoarder for sure. So this reminds me though, when we first moved to Minneapolis, okay, we leave here and I had some stuff in the garage that I left. And I said, I was just like, I can't fit it in the car. I'm going to leave it here. And he goes, well, what do you want me to do with it? And I was like so frustrated. I was like, I don't know. Whatever you're going to do with it, you're going to do with it, right? We come back like a month later. He threw it all away. I go, you threw it away? Well, it's in my way. It's all this stuff. I'm like, the garage is full of crap. Yeah. It's 10 things that you could have shoved in a bag and put over there. But my stuff was what was making it a big mess.
That's hilarious.
And it reminded me of this where I'm like,
I forgot about that.
What are you talking about? There's 300 things and one thing
and
that I have.
Cindy's couple little things.
Obsessed about the one thing that was mine. It had to be thrown out.
Yeah. That's too funny.
Sucks.
So Caputo and Fig killed me in this episode. So much of it, they were comic
fantastic.
relief. But Caputo is visiting Fig in her office, and he tells her he has to have this surgery, and that his fish aren't swimming well enough, and she dies laughing. And he says, "I've never heard you laugh before, and it's unsettling." And I just loved that. But he has to have surgery in order to have a baby. And then he tries talking her out of having it because he doesn't want to have this surgery. And
she's like, I've been getting shots for 3 months.
Right.
You're going to get a little
And she's like, look, my genes, she's like, it's going to be 99% me. I'll let you have 1% of this baby. And I thought that was really funny.
Yes.
And she's like, yeah.
He goes, what do I get? excessive hair in the ears.
Yeah.
And, like, it was pretty funny.
So she was saying how, she goes, I don't have any recessive genes. And he goes, that's really not how science works.
Right.
So he was refusing to have the surgery for a while, right? In the episode. And then, he ends up going home and she's laying on the couch watching Love Island, which we were just in London.
Which is so funny. Yeah, like I didn't even realize what this was. I didn't know what this show is. As soon as she says Love Island, I told you, I'm like, oh my gosh, when we were in London, I don't know, there must have been something that popped up or something I scanned, but I started following, I think it's the Sun newspaper out of London.
Which is probably
there.
A rag.
It's probably a rag. I have no idea how I ended up with it on my feed, but every day since we got back from London, I get updates about Love Island. I've never heard of Love Island except on this, and it's such trash.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't unsubscribed because I'm like, there must be a reason I subscribed to this, and I have not seen it yet.
Oh, that's so funny.
It may have been that I was just reading an article on their thing, and I just hit, subscribe or like or something. Now I get it. It's so funny. Everything they were saying, I'm like, oh, I bet I could pull that up on my phone and figure out who they're talking about.
Oh, my God.
The doctor? Yep, I bet I got it.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's so funny.
But she had some fabulous lines in here, and he wanted to tell her, he was so proud of his time with Cindy and with his class, and he's like, he got Cindy, he was so proud. And she goes, I don't want to hear about your dangerous minds. and
everything he'd say, she'd be like, ugh, I don't want to hear about your class.
Right.
I don't want to hear. I'm not listening to you.
And then she goes, and I'm not telling you about the horror version of Coming to America that I'm living. Or whatever. Oh my God. Right. So funny. So
she just wanted to watch Love Island.
So he surprises her by saying he's going to get the surgery. They go in, he's about to get wheeled in to have the surgery.
Oh my God.
And up pops on Facebook Susan Fisher.
No, it wasn't Facebook. What happened was he got a text. I paid attention to this.
Okay.
He got a text.
He had said Facebook.
And he said, did you post something on Facebook? Well, he said that because it was a little confusing.
Yeah.
He was saying that because one of their old CEOs, Young, from like the first season or second season, wrote to him saying, this is garbage.
Ford.
Yeah, Ford. And it was like, this is garbage. And it had a link, and he was thinking it was about him getting the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he said, oh, did you post something like on Facebook? She's like, I didn't tell anybody. Are you kidding me?
She goes, I'm still married.
I can't do this, and I don't log in. And he's like, this is so weird. And then a link pops up. He clicks on it, and it is, I can't think of her name, Susan Fisher.
Yep.
Describing her time with Caputo with a hashtag #MeToo.
And he was awful back then. He was a predator.
Yeah, he was a big perv and a predator.
Yes.
Even though he didn't think he was. He was.
He absolutely was. And so she's not wrong.
No, but the best part of it is the third comment is loose check.
Uh-huh.
It's like, yeah, and he's, whacking off in his office too. And then he goes, I respect women.
Oh my God. Of all people.
Hashtag,
yeah.
I want to change or something. I'm
like, my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That is too, like if Nikki, let's show that to Nikki and see. Oh my Lord. Or Gloria. Could you imagine Gloria's face?
Change. He's the worst.
Yes. And I wanted to share. Okay. So I have a slight Tumblr addiction. Go ahead and judge me. I don't care.
We've judged you on so many things in this episode.
We have, but, today on Tumblr of all, I don't follow really Orange is the New Black things on Tumblr.
No.
But this popped up today. Okay. And it was...
Is it about Love Island? Because I can talk all about it now.
It's about Laura Gomez from Orange is the New Black. And she's an actress, voiceover artist, writer, and director. And she is best known for transforming herself into Blanca.
Ah, okay.
And I just thought this was that was pretty cool. But I didn't know this about her. But she continues to work in her home country of the Dominican Republic, where she's directing a feature and a short film, both of which she wrote, as well as playing a role in the film Sunshine. And so they just did some, Q&A, they asked her favorite, some of her favorite things, like her favorite season, or her favorite storyline.
Sure.
She said that her favorite scene was when Pusey died.
Because
she said it was so powerful.
It was really powerful.
Yeah, I just that's all. I just wanted to share.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So anyone on Tumblr, they can look that up.
Yeah, but I liked that they talked about some of the other stuff that she's doing, and that she's a writer and director. She said that she discovered she was good at writing and directing, trying to create work for herself. She was looking for new ways to create work, and she was like, well, I'll try this. And so she wrote some stuff, and then she produced it. And
very cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, and I love...
we'll have to follow her. We'll have to look up at
the evolution of her character that we talked about already. And she mentions it on here and says how, they were saying, how easy is it for you to be Blanca? And she was like, oh, it's been 7 years. She goes, now I just put that outfit on and do the hair that way. And she goes, I immediately just fall into the character,
Right.
So that was kind of fun, but
very cool.
Yeah, because she does play a very unique. Some of the characters are probably fairly close to the actual actor.
Right,
some of them
she
don't have to play, like Piper doesn't probably have to do too much different, or Alex or Ruiz. Some of them are probably a little bit more.
Well,
but you've got ones like Suzanne and Blanca who are so
over the top characters.
Yeah.
Well, and if you think about her character from the first season versus now, she didn't even really talk in the beginning. She was like an animal.
Yes.
And they had her, they like made her, had her eyebrow like never tweezed, so it was like a very severe eyebrow.
And she said she was more like comic relief, for the first 3 seasons or something, And
they've let that evolve into quite an interesting character.
So there you go. I just thought that was, I like I said, I don't know why I don't follow, well, because I'm too obsessed with X-Files to follow things.
That's right.
But I only thought Tumblr was for one reason. And so
there's more than X-Files on here?
So now, that popped up today, and I thought, oh my gosh, look at that, right as we're about to talk about it.
Very cool. Is that it?
That's all. That's all I got.
I can't wait to get to the
This was a
next
big one.
episode.
This was meaty, and I'm sad.
Yeah, I'm ready for the next episode, though. I am super excited.
I know, but tasty.
Yeah, well, we can find out if the letter is intercepted.
All right, let's do it.
That would be a good thing.
All right, sign us out.
And we got to find out what happened to Caputo.
Get us out.
All right. So follow us on social media. Find it all in the show notes. We've got a T-shirt there with a link. You can buy a T-shirt. We've got our Twitter, our Instagram, our Facebook. All those links are there. It's Orange Podcast on Twitter, and it's Orange is the New Black Podcast on Facebook. And I think it's Orange Podcast on Instagram. Look in the show notes. They're there. You can also go to our website, which is southgatemediagroup.com, where we have over 100 different shows. So if you have gone through this and you're like, what's next? You're going to find what's next there. And we're always adding stuff. And we also have a show schedule up on the site now. And we have listings for our live events that are coming up. And we are starting to add some of our festival things that are coming up. So if you live near us or happen to be on the path of our festivals, you can check us out live, which is awesome. That's it. I think I'm done. There's only one more thing to say. Inmates, back to your cells.